see that small island right there? That island is called Kualoa. There's a couple of legends attached to that small island. You know, it came to be.
What is the legend?
The first legend would take us to the big island of Hawaii where Pele resides. Legend begins one day, Pele decided that she wanted to take a walk with her sisters. And because she was a demigod, she decided to take this walk as an old woman. Decided that she needed to take a nap, and so she found a hollow tree that she could sleep under. And so she fell asleep and her sisters continued their walk. But as she was sleeping, she could hear drums being played in the distance, and she followed those drums where they're coming from. And they led her from island to island until she finally arrived on the island of Kualoa, where she saw this young chief by the name of Kualoa making his pump with his drums. Now she immediately fell in love with this young chief. And of course she approached him and began to talk story with him. She promised Kualoa that she would bring him to the big island of Hawaii. And then she left back to where she was sleeping under that hollow tree. When she woke up, she called for her sisters, and as they gathered, she asked one of them to make the journey back to Hawaii to get Kualoa rich. Well, the youngest sister, Hideaki, decided that she would take that journey, so she did. She left and she traveled from island to island, but when she came to this island of Kualoa, in fact, she came to this district of Kualoa, where she was stopped by a giant moho, a lizard. This moho was the guardian of the area, and he refused to let her pass, and so a battle ensued between those two. And as they were battling, Hideaki ripped the tail off of the moho. She then threw it into the ocean. Mokoli there in the distance is the tip of the tail of the moho. Body and the head can be found in the Hakipu district, which is the district that is ahead of us, but Mokoli is the tip of the tail. Now, once Hideaki defeated the moho, she was then able to travel to Hawaii, get Kualoa, take him to the big island of Hawaii with Pele, awaited his arrival. There's more to the story. If you'd like to find that out, you can Google it. Now, as you make your way down this road, right inside you can see an area where we do house and keep a lot of our baby wild pigs that we do hunt and trap on the property. We then bring the pigs here. This area we call this the drive-thru. Because we get to drive-thru and order on big piggies. Here in the islands, when it comes to cooking wild pigs, smoked meat is a favorite method. We marinate the meat before we cook it. The two types of woods that we use often here in the islands is ohia and ke'ave. Both really good wood and have good flavors, especially ke'ave. Now once the meat is smoked, you can cube it, throw it in the freezer. If not, you can cube it, serve it with tomatoes and onions. Now smoked meat is a popular dish served amongst family gathering. And usually when we eat smoked meat, we will always serve it with poi or rice. Now poi in Hawaii means palm beat or twist. It's a process. We take one of our starches like kalo or taro, which can be found throughout the Pacific, Asia, as well as South America. It's like a potato. And what we do is we steam our kalo. Once it's steamed, we take a stone pesto. We call it pohakupu'ia or poi powder. We pound and mash it into a paste. Now once in the paste form, we add water to get to the consistency, and we call it poi. Now the reason why I bring this up is because there is two legends of Mokoli. Now this next one I'm going to share with you is the legend that I grew up on. I grew up in Haula, which is about 10 minutes down the road from here. This is the legend that we're raised on by our grandparents. And we're going to need the use of the poi pounder for this one.
Okay.
So the legend begins. A very large shark terrorized this area of Kualoa, and the people were very afraid of this shark. Till one day this young man decided that he had enough and he was going to do something about this shark. And so he took his poi pounder and he entered the ocean. But immediately the shark attacked. This young man, using that poi pounder, began to hammer the shark over and over again until he was able to drag that shark onto the shoreline. Now when he dragged that shark onto the shoreline, that shark changed to a young boy, a shark boy. So the young man named the shark boy his slave. Whatever chores he had, the shark boy had to do. Now over a period of time, they became very close friends, in fact inseparable. And unfortunately, the longer the shark boy stayed out of the ocean, the more sick and frail he became. The young man, being concerned for his friend, wanted to let him back into the ocean, but his worry was that if he did, perhaps he would get terrorized the area. So this bothered him for a time until he finally brought this situation up to the shark boy. The shark boy had made a promise. He said, if I'm allowed back into the ocean, I will no terrorized the area. The young man, believing his friend, walked him to the shoreline, but before allowing him to enter the ocean, he handed him the koi pounder as a token of their friendship. The shark boy took the koi pounder, entered the ocean, and immediately turned back into the shark. The young man then turned and walked back to his kohale. When he turned back to see just how far his friend had gotten into the Bay Area, there in the distance is the island of Mokuli. So there you have it, two legends as to how Mokuli came to be. With that being said, mahalo for joining us today at Kualoa, especially at the Zipline. If you guys are hungry, we do have a cafeteria that serves some really good food. Some of my favorites, the truffle burger is really good.